Okay, we'll wait for 2 more minutes and then we'll go. So we started at 6:05.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. 1 second. So, one second, we'll wait while I was made the co-host. So what we'll do is we'll discuss the syllabus for Python, okay, and then general queries you have. If you have any general queries, we'll discuss about that regarding Python alone, okay. And then we'll do dive. So we look at the previous mock papers, and then we'll discuss those questions, okay. Give 1 second. Okay, all right. So we can begin now. So let me share my screen. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Okay. So first we'll discuss about the syllabus. Okay, the syllabus consists of you have already shared you the lectures. Okay. Ideally, if you're aware of these contents, you need not have to look at the lectures actually. I mean, if you think you're good enough in Python, you need not have to look at the content. But if you think that you are not good in like any of these concepts, you can look at the specific lectures. Okay, or if you want, if you want to brush up your entire Python concepts, you can start looking at the entire lectures. Okay, so it will include this basic concepts. Okay, the print input. Okay, and then the strings basic things. Okay, that will use, and then the conditional statements will be having if else, and then this if elif statements and all will be having. The loops are basic ones, so all these basic things will be including, and then this Python list, and then the other tuples sets dictionaries are also important. How to write a function in Python, that's also an important topic which will be included. The recursion will be getting. Okay, so the recursion, and then the basics of file handling, you just need to be knowing, that is just how to open a file, closing a file, and then this read mode, write mode, and then this when you're going for read mode, you need to be reading a line. So the methods, the read lines, the write method, and all those basic methods in file handling, those you should be knowing. Okay, so if you're like good enough with with these concepts, and you look at the mock papers. Okay, and if you're able to solve them, then it's going to be good enough. Then you'll be able to do well in the diploma qualifier exam. Okay.
Sir, actually, I have gone through the videos, but file handling is not there in the Python videos.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll add those videos. Okay.
Okay, sure.
We'll add videos to the playlist. Yeah, we'll add that by tomorrow morning or by end of.
Okay, thank you.
So before we begin, before we look at the mock questions, right? Do you have like any general questions you have with respect to this Python? Don't have any questions as such? Okay.
Sir, in exam, do we need to run any code, or all will be the multiple choice questions?
It's always going to be multiple choice questions. You need not run any code.
Okay.
Yeah.
And exam will be of 50 marks, right, for Python?
I'm not entirely sure about this the marks, but then it's going to be the number of marks is going to be same for like all courses. You can just look at the pattern. So with respect to specifically Python, I mean like how much marks this Python carries, that I'm not entirely aware of. Okay, you can look at the paper model.
Okay.
Questions you have? General questions? Don't have any general questions? Like with respect to Python, on like how many of you are like good in Python coding? So among you guys, like if you're done Python coding before, and then like if you know what Python programming language is, you can raise your hand. If you know at least some part of Python, okay? Or if you looked at the lectures also, it's okay. You can raise your hand. Can you guys do that? Yeah. So one person has raised. Others, like if you know Python, if you're done Python coding at some point, or if you have looked at the lectures, okay, or you know the basics of coding in Python, you can raise your hand. So this will give me an idea of like how good your skills are. Okay, like it will help me pace the session. Okay. Others, you're not done Python coding at all before. Should have done, right? Others, raise your hand.
Sir, I just started learning, sir, just the basics.
Okay, you can still raise your hand. Okay, that's okay. It's like if you learn some part of Python at some point of time, or if you know it now, you can raise your hand. Okay, even if you started watching lectures yesterday, it's okay. You can raise your hand. It's like half the people, others. So this Ranjit Kumar, Richa, Jayesh, Shinde, Gopika, you haven't looked at the Python lectures at all. You haven't done Python coding, Python lectures. You don't even know the basics, is it?
Yeah, so we have done some basics on it. So just need to go through the video lectures and everything to get a brush up. So if we get a brush up of the syllabus, what is covered, so maybe of the concepts or something like just a go through, maybe we can just help out.
Here actually I won't actually like going to the concept because it's not easy to cover the entire concepts in the
Yeah.
Okay, so what I can do is I can go through the problems. Okay, the mock problems. Okay, it was released to you actually. Okay. You can look at the syllabus and then the video playlist as well as a mock question paper, right, for Python.
Sure,
And then
sure.
what I can do is I can go through those questions, okay, and then I can help you. I can help you in like solving those problems. That alone I can do.
Yeah,
So
sure.
basically, I guess even those people who didn't raise their hand, at least like they would have done like some part of coding. Okay, so yeah, okay. You can lower your hand now, all of you. Okay, so yeah, we'll begin. So what I'll do is, or the next 1.5 hours, 2 hours, we'll look at the mock problems and then we'll discuss about like how to identify, like how to understand the code, okay, and then like find the small mistakes, you know, find where find like look at the way to find the correct solution. Okay, I'll say. All right, shall we do that?
Okay.
Sure, sir. Yeah. Yes.
We have total of 16 problems, so we'll just look at it. So this is just for information purpose. Okay, this 1, 2, 3 numbers you see. Okay, those are the number of the line code. Okay, this is the first line of code, the second line of code, third line of code. This 1, 2, 3 will not be included in the code. Okay, so that is just for representation purpose. This is the code, and for this particular code, the input output, this output was mentioned here. Okay, so as I mentioned, the code block, it has this line numbers and then this code input output, or whichever one it is. In this particular case, it was output. Okay, so we'll look at the question straight away. Okay, so the first question, what it's asking is, okay, we'll discuss the concepts that are involved, okay, for each question, and then like then we'll be solving it. Okay? So look at this first question. They're asking consider the following snippet of code. They have given a code, and then they're just asking what is the output of this code for the following input. Okay, so for this input of risk, okay, so this code is asking for input, right? So for input of risk, they're asking what will be the output, which this code will be. Okay, okay. Now we'll try to answer this. So before I answer this, what you can do is you can guys like try to answer this. Okay, So I'll zoom out a bit. Okay. So you can see the question as well as the input, right? So by looking at this question and then the input, okay, you can try to figure out the answer. I'll give you like 3 minutes to solve. Okay, 3 minutes to solve. So you can try to solve this. Okay, and after 3 minutes we look at the solution. Okay. So please do not mention your answer in the chat box. You just try to solve it and then like note your answer. Note your answer. That's it. Okay. These are it's going to be the options and all. So you have like some row number, second row, third row, first one, and then the number you have. Okay? So just look at the code and then like try to figure out what the output is. Okay? 3 minutes, and after 3 minutes we'll discuss the solution. Okay. Now we look at the solution. So here what we have is right, the first row is QWERTY. Okay, the first row string. Okay, string is a string. it has this it has this characters in it for TOP, okay, and then AST. The second row has ASDF, GH, JKL, okay, and then third row has this ZX, CV, BNM, okay. If you observe it closely, the first row is actually the first row in your keyboard. The second row consists of all the characters. Okay, the second row consists of all the characters in the second row of the keyboard, and the third row consists of all the characters in the third row of the keyboard. Okay, so what they are asking is for character in word, for char in word. Okay, for char in word, if char in first row, basically for char in word, what is it going to do? Okay, word here is input, right? So basically here word is going to be equals to brisk. Okay, so the input whatever the format it is in, okay, it's always going to be taken as a string. Okay, so even like in this particular case it was like all the alphabets, but even let's say in some other problem integer was given, that integer will be considered as a string until you convert it to an the integer will be considered as a string. Okay, when you take like word equals to input, and then if the input is an integer 24, that 24 will be considered as a string. Okay, it won't be considered as an integer. You need to be converting it to a integer. Okay, coming back to this question, you have your word equals to brisk, right? So for char and word, what is it going to do is it's going to loop through each and every character in a string. Okay, what are all the characters we have? We have B, R, I, S, K. Okay, so it's going to loop through each character. Okay, in that particular order. So first it's going to start from B, R, I, S, K. Okay, so now let us look at what's going to happen if char in the first row, okay, is B. The first element in this loop, it's going to be B, right? So B won't be there in the first row, so this will not get executed. Elif char in second row. Okay, if B is not there in second row also, B is there in third row. So this 9 and 10 also will not be happening. If you look at this elif char in third row, this is true because char actually does exist in brisk. Okay, then what we are asking, okay, now we'll enter this inside the elif loop. Okay, so print third row. Okay, so we'll be printing third row, comma, third row dot index of char. Okay, so here first what happens is we're going to print third row, comma, third row dot index of char. What is this index going to do? It's going to give out the index of this particular character B. Okay, so this B character, okay, it occurs at 0, right? So the output is going to be third row space 0. Okay, by default, so this third row is considered as like one variable, and then this third row dot index of char, that 0 value, it's going to be considered as one variable. Okay, so by default, when you have comma between like two variables, okay, the separator will always be equal to that space. Okay, so the output is going to be the first line is going to be third row space 0. Okay, later on for R, since R exists in the first row, okay, the output is going to be, this will be holding true. Since R is in first row, we'll print of first row, comma, index of R. The index of R is 1, so it's going to print first row 1. Okay, now let's look at options. Okay, sorry. One problem. So here they ask the third row dot index of char. Okay, what I thought is it would be like word dot index. No, but it's like third row dot index of char. So this B actually occurs at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, B actually occurs at the fourth index. So the first row, the first line of output will be third row space 4. Okay, third row space 4. We have your option B, and then okay, we just have option B. Okay, by looking at the first line of output itself, we can just find out that option B is correct. Okay, but we'll check for later also. That is for R. R exists in the first row, so it's going to print first row and then space. Where does R exist in the first row? R exists in 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it exists at the at the third index, so it's going to print first row space 3. Okay, first row space 3, and then yeah. So this is how it's going to be. Even second letter is correct. Similarly, the third row, for the third element, fourth element, and fifth element, you can check. Okay, the I occurs at this particular place. Okay, so that particular index you need to be checking. Since the first line of output itself gave us the correct option, you do not actually have to look at the later lines of output. Okay, is this clear?
Yes.
Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Clear, right? Okay. So if you have any questions, you can stop me, or else we can move on to the next question. Okay. Yeah. We'll move on to the next question. So here, what this common data for two group means is like the same data, okay, the same statement. Okay, it's going to be used for next second and third question. Okay. So they are given, consider the following snippet of code: A comma B comma C. A, B, and C are like Boolean variables. The Boolean variables, it will only be either true or false. Okay. So initially A comma B comma C, they are given as 0 comma 0 comma 0. Okay. So this basically means A will take 0, B will take 0, and C will take 0. Okay. In Python, you can actually initialize multiple variables at a time in a single line using this. So in either programming languages, we need to initialize each variable in a single line. But here in Python, you can initialize multiple variables in a single line. Okay. So if A, what this basically means? Generally, what does the if statement does? It checks whether this particular thing is like true or not, right? That particular expression is true or not. If it's true, then it will enter the loop. If it's not true, then it won't enter the loop. Okay. So if A, then A plus equals to 1, then A will get incremented. Okay. Initially A is 0, right? A will get incremented by 1. Okay. So if A, then A will get incremented by 1. If B, both A and B will get incremented. Okay. So basically, like until the third line is executed, A is equals to 1 and B equals 0, C equals 0, right? But if B is also true, then A will become 1 plus 1, 2. B will become 0 plus 1, 1. Okay. So A will become 2 and B will become C. Sorry, B will become 1. Okay. If C is also true, then A will get incremented by 1 more and B will get incremented by 1, C will get incremented by 1. So basically A will become 2 plus 1, 3, A will be 3 and B will become 1 plus 1, 2. Okay. And then C will become 1. Okay. They are asking you to print A plus B plus C. Okay. But until now, we do not know what the values of A, B, C are. That is, we do not know whether A is true, B is true, or like C is true or false. We do not know what the values of A, B, C are. Now let's look at the questions. The first question is, what is the output of the above code snippet if A, B, C are true? Okay. If all A, B, C are true, then as I told, A will get incremented by 1 here. It will become 2. It will become 3. Okay, by the end of this third input. Okay, and then B will become 2. C will become 1. So it's going to be 3 plus 2 plus 1, 6. Okay, clear? The second statement. Sorry, the second question, is that clear?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now we look at third question. Is the following statement true or false? Okay, they're asking whether this statement is true or false. The statement A greater than or equals to B greater than or equals to will always evaluated true. This is independent of the values of A, B, and C. Is that correct? The statement, irrespective of what the values of A, B, and C, that is A can take true or false, B can take true or false, C can take true or false, right? Irrespective of the value of A, B, and C, the statement A greater than or equals to B greater than or equals to C will always evaluate it true. So that's what they're saying. Okay. Now let us look at this. Okay. It will evaluate true because irrespective of what the values of A, B, C are, okay, wherever B is getting incremented, A is also getting incremented. Okay. And then wherever C is getting incremented, A and B both are getting incremented. Okay. So it's like we have this three people here. Okay, let's call them like Ram, Rahul, Rahim. Okay, something like that. So if Rahim gets an apple, Ram and Rahul both gets apple. Okay, if Rahul gets an apple, Ram will always get an apple. And if Ram gets an apple, Rahul and Rahim need not get an apple. So it's like Ram will always get an apple. Okay, if other two gets, and then if Rahim gets, then Rahul and Ram will always get. So it's like saying the the number of apples with respect to Ram will always be greater than or equals to number of apples with respect to Rahul, and these both will have like greater than or equals to with respect to Rahim. Okay, this is clear. It's so Gokul Krishnan, your idea is correct. 3 greater than or equals 2 greater than or equals to 1, but then it could be the case that see, suppose let's say if a itself is false, then a comma b comma c will become 0 0 0. Okay. So even then the statement will hold true. Okay, so it doesn't matter what the values of a, b, c are. That is, a could be true, b could be true, c could be true, or let's say like a could be true, b is false, c is false. Doesn't matter what the values of a, b, c are. This will always hold true. Okay, clear? Is this clear?
Yes, clear.
Yes, sir.
We move on to the fourth question. We wish to find the number of occurrences of digit 1 in a string word. Okay, so basically we are asking like in a string word. Okay, we want to find the occurrences of digit 1. Okay, and store it in a variable called count. Select all the corresponding code snippets that I choose. Okay, so we want to find the number of times one occurs in a string word. Okay, so it's like, okay, I won't disclose this. So just look at it and then try to answer. Okay. So I'll zoom it out a bit so that you can see the entire option. Hope this is okay. Yeah, you look at these options. Okay, so you should count the number of occurrences of the digit 1 in a string word. Okay, so the word is a string, and then like you need to count the number of occurrences of digit 1 and then store it in a variable called count. So you can look at all the 4 options, and then I'll give you 3 minutes to solve this, or let's say like I'll give you 5 minutes to solve this, since you need to look at like all the 4 different codes, and then we look at the solution. Okay, is that okay? This 2 is easy, it's not difficult. You can look at the number of lines. Each option it's on like 4 lines, so it's not difficult. Just look at it, and then like we'll discuss after 5 minutes.
Okay.
Are you guys done? Shall we discuss solution?
Yeah, we can discuss.
Yeah, shall we discuss?
Yes.
Now, right, we'll discuss solutions. Okay, so what we have over here is we have okay, now let us look at the first option. The count equals 0, there initialization because we assume initially there are no digit ones. Okay, for char in word, char equals to 1. Okay, they are saying if char equals to 1. Okay, consider this. First thing is it's a string, right? This word is a string. Okay, so for each character in word, the character will again be a string. Okay, so you are equating a string to an integer. Okay, so that you cannot do. Okay, you cannot check whether a string or a character is equal to an integer. Okay, so the first option is incorrect. Okay, it will throw out an error. You cannot compare character to a integer there. Okay, so the first option is not correct because there is a syntax error in line number 3. Okay, the second option is correct because we're checking if char equals to 1 we have, right? Okay, so the second option is indeed correct because if for each char in word, okay, suppose let's say the word is something like 1 2 3 4 5, okay, 7. Okay, so the count of the digit 1, it's going to be 1. Okay, so and it's actually going to this it will actually be ones, like by the end of this loop the count will be equals to 1. So the second option is indeed correct. The third option is also correct because you're converting this integer to a string. Okay, the only difference between the first option and then this third option is that you're converting that integer to a string. Okay, now we can compare the char to n this str of 1. Okay, even here also we are counting the number of occurrences of 1 and then like we are doing it syntactically correct. So the third option 2 is correct. Okay, so the fourth option is incorrect. The idea is correct here, but then the initialization count should not be initialized to 1. Okay, so count should be initialized to 0. Initially we'll assume that we'll start with that there are no 1 digits in the word, right? So we should be initializing it to 0, not 1. So the fourth option is incorrect. So the correct answer B and C. Okay, is this clear? Is this clear to all of you
Yes,
guys?
sir.
Yes.
Okay. Now we look at the question 5. The question for what we have is what will be the output of the following snippet of code? Okay, so you can just look at it after 3 minutes, maybe after 4 minutes, look at the solution. Okay, this is also not so difficult problem. You can try solve that, but be careful about this. When will this count be implemented or not? Okay, just look at the code and then the logic. Okay, so shall we look at the solution? Yeah, most of you have got it correct. Yeah. Shall we look at solution? Wait.
Yes, sir.
So the first thing is the word itself is this is not so hard after. So guess this question is not so hard. The count equals to 0. So the count was initialized to 0 for char and word. If a is less than or equals to char is less than or equals to z and char in a I o e. So basically what this checks is it checks the first part of the if statement. If a is less than or equals to char is less than or equals to z, it checks whether that letter is capitals or not. Okay. So if it is in caps, then this will be true. And then if char and AEIOU, this AEIOU, this is a list. I mean, this entire thing is list. So if that char actually exists in the list, then this will turn out to be true. Okay. If both these are true, that is, if this expression comes out to be true, and then this also comes out to be true, then only this overall statement will be true. Okay. So for AND statement to be true, both A, B should be true. Then only A and B will come out as true. Okay. So then this will be incremented by 1. Now let us look at all the capital letters. A, I, O is a vowel, right? So let us look at all the capital letters which are vowels. Okay. So this T is a capital letter, but T is not an vowel. So you can ignore this. Here I is a vowel, but it's not capital. So the count won't be incremented by 1. So the count until now is still 0. Here this I there, that is like capital I. So it's going to be incremented to 1. And then we have, it's not, S is not a, S is capital, but it's not vowel. And then we have here O we have, O is a vowel and it is in caps there. Okay. So after S, okay. So that capital O is there. So now the count will become 2. Hard, it not be get implemented. A is a vowel and then like it is in caps. So now until now the count will become 3. FT, those are not vowels, so you can ignore that. And then E, at E there it is in capital, it is in capital letters, and then it is a vowel. So the count will be like 4 after this. So and then here we have A is a vowel, but it is in smaller case, so it won't be incremented. Yeah. So by the end of this, the count will be equals to 4. Okay. Clear? This question? Is this question clear?
Yes.
Now we'll look at the next one. If n is a positive integer, what is going to be the output of the following code? Assume that the natural number starts from 1. That is 0 is not a natural number. Assume that 0 is not a natural number, and then like if n is a positive integer, then what's going to be the output of this? That's what they're asking for. Okay. Yeah. So I'll give you the options too. Okay. Yeah. You can look at this. This is the code, and then this is the option. Okay. Now, even now, it can take like 3 minutes to solve this, and then we look at the solution. Okay. We are at 6th question, so we still have lots of time. Yeah, you can take 3 minutes to solve this. Okay. Okay, so shall we look at solution? Or do you want some more time?
We can discuss.
Hello. Shall we look at solution or do you guys want some more time?
2 minutes more, sir.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, we look at solutions. Here, what we have is n is a positive integer. What is the output of the following code? Assume that natural numbers start from 1, that is 0 is not natural number. Equals 0 for I in range of 1 to n. Okay, so n plus 1. So for this range one, we should understand that it start from, suppose if it's range from A to B, okay, it starts from A, but then it will end at B minus 1. Okay, the last integer will not be included. Okay, so here too, since the range is until n plus 1, n so it will only go for like I from 1 to n. Okay, the n plus 1 will not be included. Okay, so that for I equals to 1 to n plus 1, the initialized b to 1 for j in range of 1 to I plus 1. Okay, so it's going to be like for j in range of 5 to, for j range is going to be 1 to I. Okay, so it's going to be like b equals to b star j. So it's going to be like suppose let's say like I equals to 5. So b is going to be, b initially will be initialized to 1. And then since the j is going to range from 1 to 5, okay, so b will become, so in the first iteration b will be 1 star 1, and in second iteration it's going to be 1 star 2, and in third iteration it's going to be 2 star 3, fourth iteration it's going to be 6 star 4, and then in the fifth iteration it's going to be 6 4 24 stars 5. Okay, so it's going to be 1 into 3 into 4 into 5. Okay, so it's going to be factorial. It's going to be I factorial. So B will be, by the end of this fifth line, we will basically be I factorial. Okay, I factorial is nothing but 1 into 2 into 3 into and so on I, right? So B will become I factorial, and we are adding that B to A. Okay, what is this A? A initial is 0. So this will be nothing but for A you are adding I factorial. Okay, since that I ranges from 1 to n, so you'll be adding 1 factorial, 2 factorial, 3 factorial, 4 factorial, and so on n factorial. Okay, so it's going to be the sum of the factorials of the first n natural numbers. Okay, it's not the sum of first n natural numbers. Actually, we are not even doing sum there. We are doing multiplication, so we are including factorials there. It is not a product of first n natural numbers. Okay, so it's not just a product of first n natural numbers. The n factorial will be there. Okay, but along with n factorial, there are other terms too. Okay, sum of first n natural numbers. Sorry, sum of the factorial of first n natural numbers. That's true. Factorial of the sum of the first n natural number. That's not true. Okay, so it is not sum of the first n natural numbers is n into n plus 1 by 2. It's not n into n plus 1 by 2 whole factorial. Okay, it is just 1 factorial plus 2 factorial and so on plus n minus 1 factorial plus n factorial. Okay, it is important to understand the difference between the third option and then the fourth option. Okay, I hope that is clear. Right? Is this question clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Move forward to the next question. Now we can look at this. The following code block. B is an integer. Okay, so wherever this B is there, B is an integer that has already been defined. The code block runs without throwing an error. Okay, and terminates after scoring after accepting 10 inputs, all of which are integers from the user. Assume that all the questions that follow are independent to each other. Like all the 7, 8, 9 questions, they are independent to each other. This says that the code block is running without an error. Okay, and terminates after accepting 10 inputs. Okay, it ended after. So where are we taking inputs? So here we are taking inputs. Okay, so basically we took 10 inputs, and after 10 inputs, this code block has ended, which basically means this while loop has ended. Okay, all right. So now based on this, you need to answer this question. B is equals to 100, then which of the following could have been the one of the 10 inputs entered by the user? Okay. All right. So try to solve this. This if I reduce it a bit, won't be able to see the question. Okay, but what I will give you is, okay, I'll give you that B is equals to 100. Note the remember that B is equals to 100. Now look at this question and think of like what all could have been the 10 inputs with B is equals to 100. Okay, and remember that after accepting 10 inputs, the code has ended. Okay, the code block has ended. Okay, it has got terminated. Okay, so think about this, and after 5 minutes also look at the solution. Okay, the question is clear, right?
Can you show again the question?
Yeah.
we see the options?
Shall we look at solution?
Yes, sir. So we need to see the options of question 7.
Do you guys still need time?
Sir, we need to see the options of question 7. Because
We don't see the question, sir, on the screen.
What?
so there would be options of this, no?
Yeah, okay. You're asking for options, okay.
Yes, sir.
Forget about options. Think about like what all could be the inputs. Then we look at the options, okay.
What is the question, sir? Question.
Yes, like
The question is this. If B is equals to 100, then which of the following could have been one of the 10 inputs entered by the user?
Sir,
Yeah. The inputs are from 0 to 9. Yeah, that part is kind of true. But remember that B is equals to 200, okay?
X is between B, it's between less than greater than B and less than B plus 2. Equality value the 200 is given.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to hear you properly.
Okay, so here it is like B is 200, and in the question there is no equality. The statement was else if X is X is greater than B and it is less than B plus 2.
Yeah.
There is no equality.
Right. So what is that? Okay, we'll discuss that. Okay, we'll think about like what that tells you. Then we look at it.
So if X is 200, I take that is the only possibility where it can break. But
Right.
Equality is not there.
It could be like 200. Okay, we'll discuss about it. Okay, just think about it. We'll discuss. Okay, for it to break, this should be holding true, right?
Right. So here there is no equality, but
Think about it. Just think about it. We'll discuss. Okay. So shall we discuss then? Maybe. Okay. Shall we discuss?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first thing is we'll discuss about this terminating case. Okay. For it to get terminated, as I said, B is equal to 200, right? So this X should be, as one of the students has pointed out, it should be greater than 200, but it should also be less than B plus 2, which means it should also be less than 202. So what's going to be the integer between 200 and 202? It is 201, right? So when X equals to B plus 1, which is 201, the function will break. No, the code will break. It's not the function, the code will break. Okay. So when X equals to 201, the code will break. And then, so for it to be 201, first of all, we should be taking inputs, right? So, and they said that it ended after 10 inputs. So until 9 inputs, the function did not end. Okay. So it could be like, and for us to take one more input, the x should be less than 10. Okay. So all the first 9 inputs, they should be less than or equals less than 10, not even equals to, they should be less than 10. Okay. So if they're like less than 10, then this will continue. Okay. And then exactly at the 10th input, at the 10th input, the x value should be equal to 201. Then only this code will terminate. Okay. So which of the following could have been one of the 10 inputs entered by the user? So 1 is possible, 7 is possible, 200 is not possible, 201 is possible. Okay, actually, but 201 option is not there. D is not possible. Okay, if one of the 10 inputs is 40, what will happen is we won't take an input, and then this while loop will not break, so it will be like running infinite. Okay, so the code will never terminate if one of the input is 40, and the code will never terminate if one of the input is 200. So C and D are incorrect, A and B are correct. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So please explain the B one again.
What?
So B, option B is right, huh?
Yeah, option B is right. So since like 7 is like less than 10, it is right. Okay, 7 can be one of the input, one of the 10 inputs. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll move further.
Yes, sir.
So this is the same one. Okay, if B is equals to 100, what is the maximum possible value that the user could have entered among the first 9 inputs? Okay, actually this is straightforward. Okay, yeah,
Should be 9.
B is equals to 100. What is the maximum possible value that the user could have entered in the first 9 inputs?
9
So
only,
like-
sir. This is quite true.
Right? This is
Obvious, because it has to be less than 10.
yeah. It should be less than 10. They're asking for first 9 inputs. Okay, it should be less than 10. Okay, the integer which they could have entered is 9, right? Correct. The 9 is the only value, like 9 is the only integer which is like less than 10. So this will be the B would have been like 9. Okay, clear?
Okay.
Yeah, that's a maximum possible value they could have. What is the value of B if the final input entered by the user is 100? Okay, so they're asking for value of B. The output, sorry, if the final input entered by the user is 100. Okay, so now look at it. I told you that this x should be between B and B plus 2. So basically, x will be equals to B plus 1. If x is which is B plus 1, if it is equals to 100, then B will be 99, right? Correct? Yeah. Is this clear? Why the B value is 99? Because B is less than 100 is less than B plus 2. So basically, B should be 100. Sorry, B should be 99. Then only we can say that 99 is less than 100 is less than 101. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
So what is that NAT or the MSQ refers to in the question as a suffix? For each question, we are saying NAT. Is
So
that
that NAT is just for like okay, numerical answer type. So it basically means numerical answer type. You need to enter your answer. Like you need to enter a number there. Okay.
we need to enter in where, sir?
Actually, you have different types of questions, right? So you have different types of questions. Okay, one question will be like multiple choice where you just need to select among the 4 or 5 options. You just need to select one correct option. Okay. Some questions will be like there will be 5 options. Okay, 5 or 6 whatever options. You can select multiple. Okay, one or more can be correct. So for example, the previous problem here, right? The ABCD. Among here 2 options are correct. So you should select 2 options for you to be getting full marks. Okay. So this is the second type of question, that is MSQ. Okay, multiple select. And then this numerical answer type, where there won't be any options. You need to enter the answer directly. There will be a small box. Okay, you need to enter the answer directly. Okay, clear?
The choice will not be given for this type.
The choice will not be given. You just need to enter the answer in a small box.
And for that more than one option questions, we will get the full marks only if we select all the right options.
Yeah. If you select one of the right option and then did not select any wrong option, then you'll get partial marks. Okay.
Is there a negative marks applied here, sir, on these exams?
Oh no, there won't be any negative marking.
Thank you.
Yeah, move forward. Okay, consider the following snippet of code. L equals to 1. This L is a list. It consists of these numbers 1, 2, 10. Okay. They are given S equals to 0 while len of L is okay. You can just look at it. Okay, so will this code run without an error? Okay. Yeah. So just look at this code. Look at it for 2 minutes and then we'll look at the questions. Okay. Try to understand what it is doing. This is called slicing. This is line number 6. And then line number 7, there we are doing slicing. Okay. We'll discuss about that once we discuss solution. Okay, so we look at this. We'll look at the options. Okay. First thing is, will the code run without an error? Okay. Will this code run without an error?
Yes.
Okay. Will this code run without an error? That's the first thing. Yes, no?
Sir, I don't know about slicing, sir.
Okay then.
The last slicing is not.
Okay, it does actually run without an error. Okay, but I'll discuss about slicing first. What this slicing does is you are seeing from 1 to right. Okay, in the 6th line, you are seeing from one that colon and then until the end, right? Until there was nothing after the colon. Okay, so what that basically means? Generally, slicing takes here 2 parameters. Okay, before the colon and then after the colon. Okay, so if you do not mention anything after the colon, then it will basically include all the elements after. Then it will include until the end of the elements. Okay, and then if you do not mention anything before the colon, then it will start from the starting elements. Suppose let's say like here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? If I mention L of 1 to end, right? Here the indexing starts from 0, right? So it is including from the second element until the end. Okay, so that's what this is doing. Okay, in other words, we are excluding the first element. Okay, and then what this -1 does is, this -1 basically refers to the last element. Okay, and then in the slicing, the last element, I mean the last index will not be included. Just like in the range of A to B, the B is not included. It will only go until B -1, right? Here also, the last index will not be included. So basically, this 10 will not be included. Okay. So this L of -1 is 10, right? So this 10, the last element is not be included. So in the 6th line, we are removing the first element, and in the 7th line, we are removing the last element. So basically, each time we enter this loop, while loop, we are removing the first element and we are removing the last element. But before we do that, we are adding the first and last elements to S. So initial S equals 0, right? So after the first time it enters the while loop, S is going to be equals to 1 plus 10, 11, right? So since it is initially at 0, S will become 11. Okay. And then in the second iteration, already S is 11. Okay. Now we will remove. Now the first element is going to be 2 here because 1 is already removed. And then the last element is going to be 9 here because 10 is already removed. So it's going to be 2 plus 9. Again 9. 2 plus 9, 11. So 11. Since already S is equals to 11, now we'll add one more 11. So it will become 22. Okay. So and then after third time you enter, it's going to be 3 plus 8. Okay, 3 plus 8 is again 11. So it's going to be 33. 4 plus 7 it's going to be, okay. Later on, 4 plus 7 is again 11. So you're going to add it again to it, to S. 5 plus 6 later on you'll be having. See here the condition is length of L should be greater than or equals to. Until you enter this L equals to 5, 1, 6, even there also it has only 2 elements. So it will still enter the loop. And after it comes out, right, that is after this 5, 1, 6 is also removed, the cell will not have any elements. So len of L will become 0 then. Okay. Since len of L has become 0, okay, this while loop it will not enter. So basically the loop, I mean the code will get terminated. Okay. Is this clear what I'm talking about? No? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, right?
Sir, it's a little confusing, sir. Would you mind?
Yeah. Just give me a moment, okay? I'll share my screen and then I'll explain. Okay, 1 moment, okay? I'll open my writing pad and then I'll share my screen. So they're saying while len of L is greater than or equals to, we enter the loop, okay? S plus will be equals to L of 0 plus L of -1, right? So this L of -1, this is the last element. This is the first element, okay? So they're saying L is equals to L of 1 to end, okay? So here they did not mention B here, so basically it will include all the elements, okay? From the first index until the last index, it will include all. So and later we are saying L equals to 1 to -1. So basically, since here we did not mention anything, so it will include from starting except the last element. So since we mentioned -1, it will already include that element. So except the last element, it will be there. So here what we have is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So this is L. Okay. In the first iteration, since L equals to 1, 2 remaining, right? So this after this, it's going to become L will become something like I mean, after this line, I'm talking about L will become 2, 3, 4, and so on, 10. Okay. After this line, it's going to become L will become 2, 3, 4, and so on 9. Okay. So this last element will be removed. It's, since I told this minus 1, it will not be included. The last index will not be included. So that 10 will not be, will be removed. So this is for first time you are entering the while loop. Okay. Now later on, when I mean by later on, that is the next one, right? We'll check again. Now the length of L will be 8, right? Now the length of L is 8, right? Now it will again come to here. Okay. 8 is greater than or equals to 2. So this will be holding true. Okay. So now what happens? Again, this first element and last element will be removed, and before removing, it will be added to S. Okay. Here S will become 11. Okay. After after the first time you are entering while loop. Okay. After the first iteration, S will become 11. After second iteration, S will become 22. Okay. And then len of L will become 6 because you will remove 2 and 9. Okay. Now L will become 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. After this, what happens? S will become 33 because 3 plus 8 is 33. And then len of L will become 4 because you remove again the first and last element. Okay. Now L is just 4, 5, 6, 7. Even now the len of L, which is 4, is greater than or equal to 2. So it will still enter. Now S will become 44. Len of L will become 2. So L will be basically 5 on 6. After this, since even now the len of L is 2, right? So 2 is greater than or equal to 2, it will be 2. I mean, that particular expression is 2. So it will still enter. Now S will become 55. Len of L will become 0 because you'll remove the first element and last element. L will become an empty list. Okay. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Since L is an empty list now, it will not enter the while loop. Okay. Since len of L is 0, it will not enter the while loop. Okay. So answer this question. Will this code run without an error? Obviously, it will run without an error. Okay. What is the value of yes at the end of the execution? We just checked it. S will become 55. Okay. All right. Clear this one? How has
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this was done.
Thank you.
Later on, the last one. What is the value of L at the end of the execution of the given code above? Okay. These two we have done here. L is an empty list. So the value of L is A. Okay. It is going to be an empty list. Okay. Suppose let's say L is something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 only. Okay. If it has been 9 only, then what is going to be the L at the end? It's going to include 5 because in the first iteration you'll remove 1 and 9, second iteration you'll remove 2 and 8, third iteration you'll remove 3 and 7, fourth iteration you'll remove 4 and 6. This 5 will be left out. Okay. I mean, when L equals to 5, len of L is 1, so it will come out of the while loop. It comes out of the while loop, but then L still has this number 5. Okay. So here it has ended because len of L is, I mean, before entering the while loop, the len of L is an even number. So that's why it became an empty list. Okay. All right. Okay. So this still have 4 more questions. Okay. What will be the output of the following snippet of code? I'll zoom out a bit. You can look at this code and then try to answer. Okay. define difference. This is a function. Okay. P comma Q R equals to some empty list for word in P. You can look at this. Here this P is given. This is a chair. P dot split, it splits this string into a list. Okay. Based on this comma, it will split the string into a list. So basically, this P split will become the I'll explain this. So this P split is nothing but it's going to be this. This is going to be first element. This is going to be second element, and then A is going to be third element. Then chair is going to be the last element. So P split is going to be list. Similarly, Q split is also going to be list. Okay. We just sending this P split and then Q split to this function. Okay, I'll discuss this later. So we have here we are sending P split and then Q split, right? So P split is a list of words, and then Q split is also a list of words. So and you're saying define difference if define diff of P comma Q list R equals to empty list for word in P. Okay, for word in P, if word is not in Q. Okay, so if this what this basically means, this word should be there in P, but it should not be there in Q. Okay, then only we'll append this. We'll append the word to R. So basically, we are checking for the words which are there in P but not in Q. Okay, so you can check here. This is there in Q. Is there in Q. A is not there. Okay, A alone is not. A is not there. Okay, A is not there, and then chair is not there. Okay, so basically, the difference, right? This if function, it will return a list. It will return a list that has this two elements, A and chair. Okay, so option A is going to be correct. Statement will not be there because statement, first of all, it's not there in P. Okay, if it's not there in P, definitely it will not return R. Okay, this and these, they are there in Q. Since they're there in like Q split, it will not be including those. Okay. All right. Now we look at this 14th question. This is just an example of how matrix is represented as a list of lists. Okay. So in a list, the first element is again a list. Okay. And this list contains the first row 1, 2, 3. Okay. The second element of a list is again a list and it contains second row. The third element of this bigger list I'm talking about. Third element of this bigger list is again a list. It is like 7, 8, 9. Okay. For you to access any element there, right? Suppose you want to access this 5 there. Okay. How do you go about it? First you call for this list, which is going to be, suppose this is like L. Okay. This is L. You will call for, I'll explain this here. You have L is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9. Okay. I want to include this. First of all, this element index is 1, right? So I'm going to call for L of 1. L of 1 is this 4, 5, 6. Okay, L of 1 is 4, 5, 6. Now I want 5 here. So I just need to ask for L of 1 of 1. Okay. This is going to be 4. Okay, this is how you access the elements of a matrix. Okay, now if you want this 3 here, you just have to go for L of 0, and then among L of 0, this index is 2. So L of 0 of 2 is 3. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
The L11 should be 5 now instead of 4.
What?
L11.
Yeah.
L11 should be 5.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. It's fine. Yeah. Fine. Okay. Let L be a M-cross matrix of numbers that has already been defined and populated. We wish to find the sum of the elements in each column. Okay. So basically, the column will be this 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 8, 3, 6, 3, 6, 9. Okay. You want to find out the sum of the elements in each column and store all the column sum in a list. Okay, so basically you need to compute this 1 plus 4 plus 7. Okay. I'll explain for this. Here basically they're asking your output should be something like 1 plus 4 plus this is 7, 8, 9, right? What is 1 plus 4 plus 7? 12, right? 12, right? And then 2 plus 5 plus 8, which should be 15. Okay. 3 plus 6 plus 9, that will be 18. Okay, so you should be getting this. Okay, this column sum, each column sum should be element here. Okay, so the column sums list should be populated. So your output should be 12, 15, 18 for this particular example. Okay. So columns are indexed. They're just talking about this column indexes. Okay. Yeah. So which of the following options does that? Okay. Select all the correct code snippets that hit you this. Okay. Yeah. First thing is you should be creating the column sum. Okay, and then the first column sum should be the first element. Second column sum should be the second element of this column sum. Okay. You got the question right? Question is clear?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So look at these options. I'll zoom out a bit. First, look at these two options. Okay. Let's look at two options at a time. I'll give you guys 3 minutes to look at this two options, and then we look at the solution. Okay, so shall we look at this first two options, whether any of them is correct or not? Okay.
Okay.
So first, before we look at this, right? So we look at this logic. Okay, what should be the logic? So what should be the logic? First of all, we have here L is equal to something like this. Okay. This length is m. This length is m. Length is m, and overall this length is m. Okay. So the first column will be something like, first column sum should be something like L of 0 of 0 plus L of 1 of 0 plus L of 2 of 0 plus and so on L of m minus 1 of 0. Correct? Am I correct in this?
Yes.
This is a first column sum, right?
Right.
Because you look at this matrix something
Yeah,
like
correct.
1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay. Something like I'll repeat this 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay. Something like this. So these are all should be the, okay. This is the first column. So all the first column, what's the common relation they have? This value is 0. Okay. The second index, the second value, that will be 0. Okay. And then for the second column, it should be something like L of 0 of 1. Second column value sum L of 1 of plus L of 2 of 1 plus and so on. Okay. This is the second column. Okay. And so on we should be doing. Okay. So let us look at the codes that does this. So initially they created empty list column. Okay, that's good. M equals to n of L they are taken. Okay. Row equals to column equals 0 while call is less than m. Okay. Okay. Call sum dot append of 0. Okay. So what they're doing is first they're appending this call sum. I mean to the call sum they're adding an element 0 while row is less than m. Okay. So while row is less than m, they're doing call sum plus equals to L of row of call. They're doing. Okay. This is okay. Call sum plus equals to L of row of call. This is alright because for a particular column we just want this column, right? So that is like for the first column, that is like 0th column. The only this alone should be fixed. This row value should keep on changing. So until now it's correct. And then what they're doing is they're doing this row plus equals to 1. Even this is all right. Okay, even this is all right. But then the problem they're doing is after the while loop, row should be made as 0. Okay, row is not made 0 again. And then yeah, that's a big issue there. So that is why this first code snippet is like incorrect, because once we end the while loop, we should be again be like changing row to 0. Okay, and then actually we should be incrementing the call value also. Call also should be incremented by 1. Okay, so that's why the first option is incorrect. Is it clear why the first option is incorrect?
Yes.
Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You go, sir.
Now, if you look at the second option, they have done this part is correct. Okay, they incremented the call value as I told. That is okay, but they did not make row as 0 again. Row should be made 0 again because this is for first column only you are doing this, right? For you to do the second column again, row should be again 0. So this 9th line is okay, but after 9th line they should have added row equal to 0. They should have initialized row to 0 again. So second option 2 is incorrect. Look at option C and then 4. The row comma call equals 0. Okay, here you could see here, right? Row equals 0. Initially itself they made row as 0. Okay, so which is like which they missed here. Okay, so initially itself they had this row equals 0, and then after that they did not again make row as 0. Either you could do it here or you could do it there. It's okay. So they have made row again as 0, and then they have incremented column. Okay, after each iteration we want to increment column because we want to look at the call sum of next column, right? So call plus should be equals to 1, and while you are doing the call sum for each column, row should start with 0. So the third option is incorrect. Sorry, the third option is correct. Okay, it follows entire thing. Okay, because you could see here what the first code is doing is it is doing this L of 0 of 0, L of 1 of 0, L of 2 of 0, all this it's doing, but it is not going for the next column. That is the 0 value, it's not getting this call value, it's not getting incremented. And then row also should be initialized to 0. Okay, because for you to go for second column sum, row should be again initialized to 0 because we need L of 0 of 1, L of 1 of 1, that should be done. Okay, row should be initialized to 0, and then call plus should equals to 1 should be done. Okay, because this for first column sum, for second column sum, this 0 should be incremented to 1. Okay, and then for third column, this 1 should be incremented to 2. Okay, L of 0 2 plus L of 0, sorry, L of 1 of 2 plus and so on. Okay, so this call should be incremented by 1, and then after this row should be again be initialized to 0. So those two parts are important. That was done in the third option. So that's the third option is correct. Look at fourth option. Call sum equals to this, m equals to n of l for j in range of m, value equals 0. That's okay. For I in range of m, they have done val equals to val plus L of j of I. Okay, this is correct because here what they're doing is they're looping over the entire column. Okay, so they fixed the. This is not correct. Actually, they're doing the row sum there. It should have been like for I in range of m they're doing, right? So this I value that they keep on changing. Okay, actually the I should not be changing. The I should have been there at this here. Okay, so it should have been L of I of j instead of L of j of I. If you're doing this, this basically this line number 6, what that implies is they're doing something like L of 0 of 0 plus L of 0 of 1 plus L of 0 of 2. They're basically doing row sum they're doing. Okay, we want the column sum. So this j should be fixed, and then j and I should be like exchanged. Okay, look at the last option. That last option has said like what I've done, what the mistake is there in D option, that was rectified there. So basically it should have L of I of j. When we have L of I of j only, this I value keeps on changing. Okay, so basically the row index is changing while the column index is constant. That's what we want if you want to get column sum. Okay, is this clear? This overall question, it's like slightly tougher, but you should just follow what the code is doing. Okay, if you follow what the code is doing, and then that how it's getting incremented. Okay, incrementing the initializations, those you should be looking at it. Actually, if you do it using for loops, it will be like kind of like easier because you need not have to worry about this call plus equals to 1 and row plus equals to 1. These two parts you need not have to worry about. So for loop is kind of easier. Okay. Is this question clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So they're asking question number 15. Two matrices A and B are said to be equal if both the conditions are satisfied. The dimensions of A and B are same. That is, if A is of m cross n, B also should be of m cross n. If the common dimensions are m cross n and jth element in the ith row of both the matrices are the same. That is, basically they are saying both the dimensions and then each element at that particular place should also be same. Okay. So like A of I of j should also be equals to B of I of j. Okay, that's what they're saying. Write a function named equality that accepts two matrices A and B. Should return true if two matrices are equal and false otherwise. Okay. So all you need to do is first you need to check for the dimensions. The dimensions are okay. Then you should check for each and individual elements. If at any place you encounter not equal to, that is, let's say like one matrix is something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, this is one matrix. This is A. Let's say B is equals to, you're able to see my screen now?
Yes.
4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 9. Okay, here this is same. This is same. These two are same. These two are same. These two are same. Okay, but 7 and 7 are also same. But here we have 8 and then 9 here. Okay, so whenever you encounter any element which does not satisfy equality, there itself we should be returning false. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, so define equality how? If len of A not equal to len of B, return false. That's okay. If len of A of 0 is not equal to len of B of 0, or return false. Okay. Even this, but here you're just checking for the. Okay. Here len of A of 0, basically they're talking about the next dimension, that is, this len of A gives the number of rows, right? And len of A of 0 gives the number of columns. They are saying if the number of columns are not equal, then return false. Okay, this is okay. Here they are just checking for dimensions. They did not check for the each and individual elements, right? So option A is incomplete, so it's incorrect. Okay, so we'll look at the later one. If len of A not equal to len of B, return false. If len of A of 0 not equal to len of B of 0, return false. That's okay. M comma n is len of A and len of A of 0. Okay. Initially, we'll be assuming B is equal to is true. That is like we'll assume that they both are equal to. That's what they're saying. For I in range of M, this is for number of rows. For J in range of N, okay, this column. If A of I of J is not equal to B of I of J, is equal to is false. Okay, this is important. Okay, actually when you have this is equal to is false, here itself we can be returning, here itself we can return, instead of doing is equal to is false, you can directly return false. If you return false there, this function will end here itself, because you know that they are not equal. You can end it here itself. You may not have to continue checking. For example, here 8 and 9 are not equal, right? So here itself we can end. You need not check for the last element. Okay. So okay. Anyway, they are continued. This else is equal to is true. That should not be there. Okay. I'll tell you why this else is equals to true should not be there. So that's because in this particular example only, when we have 8 and 9, this is equal will come out as false, because 8 is not equal to 9. And then since we are not ending the loop there, it will go for the next element, that is 9 equals to 9. Since 9 is equals to 9 is true, this is equals will come out as true. Okay, and then you will return is equal, because and you will return true. But actually they are not equal functions. They are not like equality functions. Okay, so you should ideally be returning false, but you are returning true then. Okay, so this is like, this is not correct. Okay, is this clear why option B is incorrect? That's just because else is equals to true is there. Okay, this else statement, that else statement itself is not there, then this option B would have been correct. Okay, look at option C. Dimensionality is okay. Okay, if P of I of J is not equal to P of I of J, is equal to is false. Break, you're doing break there. Okay, it's okay if you do the break there, because whenever you're encountering false, that means those functions are not similar, they're not equal. So you can, not functions, those matrices are not equal. So you can end it there itself. Okay, you can end break. And since you got false there, we are checking if anywhere here we got false. And if we got false, if not is equal to means If not of false, okay. If it has been false, then we should be breaking. So that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. So this option C is correct because they are whenever we encountered a false, we are breaking, and then they are checking for did we encounter false there or not. This line number 15, it is checking for whether we have encountered false or not. If we encountered false, we should be breaking. So we'll break out this this entire for loop, okay, and then we'll return false. Okay, so this option C is correct. This option D is what I told previously, right? Whenever we encountered inequality, we can directly return false. Okay, you need not have to break the loop. Directly you can return false itself. That is, directly you can enter the function itself. Okay, so option D is correct. And then, okay, option D is not entirely correct because you will be returning false if the function if the two matrices are not equal. But what about the case of equality? That is, when it comes out of this for loop without entering the line number 12, right? Then it should be returning 2, right? So that's what this E has done. So E is correct. Okay, the only difference between the option D and option E is return true. Okay, because of return true, the option is correct. Okay, the return true is not true. That's why option D is. Okay, is this clear? This one, equality one.
Yes, clear.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we are at the last two questions. What is the output of the following snippet of code? Define exact count for para. Okay. So define exact count para command. So this para command is like some inputs they're saying. D equals to the dictionary for word in para dot split. So basically this para must be some string. We are splitting it based on space. Okay. So if word is not there in the dictionary, we'll be adding the d of word equals 0 and then d of word plus equals to 1. So that is, we'll be adding that word to the dictionary. Okay, dictionary key. So this is called as this. For dictionary, you have this dictionary is something like you have a key here and then you have value there. For this particular key, this is the value, and then like this is key 1, value 1, let's say, and then you have key 2, value 2. Okay, so if you call for d of key 1, it's going to give you this value. Okay, it's like saying suppose you have your students, let's say, and then students in the classroom, and then you want to note down the age of each particular student, and then you'll have something like Rahul. You have Rahul who's Rahul will be the key there, okay, string, and then his age 26 will be the value. So this is going to be on dictionary, and then let's say like okay, we have here. Okay, if Dhoni is one of the key, then you have the value for that is something like 41. Okay, and so on. Okay, so if you want to get the age of Dhoni, all you need to do is you need to call for d of Dhoni. Okay, if you call for d of Dhoni, it's going to give you the value for. Now here what they're doing is, if word not in D, that basically means that word key is not there in the dictionary. So then they're creating a key value pair. Okay, so d of word equals 0, and then they're incrementing the d of word by 1. So basically the count of that word is incremented by 1 for word in D. Okay. So for word in D of word equals to n, return 1. They're doing. Okay. So 1 second. Give me a moment, 1 minute. I'll be back. Yeah. Okay. So here what is basically happening is, so if that word is not there, then we are incrementing this d of word plus equals to 1. For word in D, if d of word equals to n, return 1, they are saying. For word in D, if d of word equals to n, return 1, they are saying. Okay, and then return 0. Okay. So here what they are saying is para comma n, right? So what this happens is, suppose let's look at it and then like let's look at like the code. Okay, what's going to be the output until this until the line number 6. Okay, until line 6, what's going to be the dictionary D? We'll look at it. Okay, so first of all, when you do the split, right, this is going to be the para good word, many good works, good real choice. Okay, this is going to the para, and then we have entered the para there. Okay, so this para dot split, we have this para dot split, right, and it's going to split this entire string into a list of words. So the first word is going to be good word. The first word is going to be the good, and the second element is going to be word. Third element is going to be many. Fourth element is going to be good. Okay. Now, since we want to, here what we are doing is we are adding this each word in this list of this para dot split. Okay, to this dictionary, right? So if good is not there, then it will add that good word to the dictionary D. If word is not there, then it will add. And ultimately, what we are doing is we are doing this d of word plus equals to 1, right? So each time we encounter that word, we are incrementing it by 1. So basically, we are counting the number of instances of that particular word. Okay. So for this particular case, what we'll be getting is we'll be getting for good it will be 1, 2, 3. Okay. So for good occur like 3 times. So for good d of good will be equals to 3, and then d of word will be equals to 1 because word only occurred once. D of many will be equals to 1, and then d of works will be equals to 1. D of real will be equals to 1. D of choice also will be equals to 1. Okay. Now this is what it's going to be. For now, let's look at this. For word in D, d of word equals to n. Here n is equals to 3 there. Okay. So line number 12 they mentioned n value 3 there. So if since d of good is equals, since d of good which is 3 equals 3, right? So the length of good word alone is 3. Okay, so that's why we are returning 1 there. Okay, we'll be returning 1 there. Okay, so basically what this function is checking is if any of the word occurred n times, that is like among this entire paragraph, we could have so many words, right? Okay, so if any of the word occurred n times, then we'll be returning 1. Otherwise, we'll be returning 0. If it has been something like 4, we'll be returning 0 because none of the word occurred exactly 4 times. If it has been 2 also, we will be returning 0 because none of the word occurred exactly 2 times. Okay. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. We'll be looking at the last one. Consider the following function. Define each part of s. Is part of s. And if ln of s equals to 1, it will be returned to s of 0 is equals to s of minus 1. S of 0 is the first character. S of minus 1 is the last character. Then we will be returning each call of S of 1 to minus 1. This 1 to minus 1 here, what this is doing is we are excluding the first character and we will be excluding the last character. We will be including the remaining. Okay. So we'll be returning. We'll be checking for this. Else we are returning false. Okay. So that is like if S of 0 is not equal to S of minus 1, we'll be returning false. Word is an non-empty string that has already been defined. Is the following statement true or false? If word is palindrome, then each pal of word always returns true. This is true actually. Here, what we are basically doing is, suppose you take a word something like, we can give you some palindrome word. No? Okay. Tomato is a palindrome word, right? Okay, no, tomato is not a palindrome. Let's call it like tot, okay? Okay, tot is a palindrome word, okay? TOT tot. So when you have that TOT tot, okay, and then len of s equals to 1, this here this s is equals to this tot, okay, TOT tot. So len of s is not equals to 1, so we'll be coming here. S of 0 equals to s of minus 1. S of 0 is this t and s of minus 1 is t. So these are true, this is true. So we'll be returning is pal of s of 1 to minus 1. S of 1 to minus 1. S of 1 to minus 1, it's going to be just go, because we'll be excluding the first character, last character, so it will just become go. And now we'll come here, okay, because we're checking again for this equal, this function will be repeated again. So if len of s equals to 1, now the length is actually equals to 1, so it will be written true. Okay, so each time what we are basically doing is, what you're basically doing is, in this particular function, let's say like you have a word, this n letter word, okay. So we are checking for first letter and last letter, okay. If this is true, then we'll check for the remaining, okay. If this itself is false, if these two are itself are not true, then we can return false, because this word is not a palindrome, okay. So, but if this has been true, still we cannot say it is a palindrome. We need to check further, okay. We need to check for this. Now here we'll be checking for this and this. If this is not true, then we return false, and if this is also true, then we check further. We'll shrink until the length become 1 or 2, 1 or 0, okay. Clear?
Yes.
Actually,
We have not used for loop here.
yeah, actually this will not always return true, because let's say like you have something like this, okay, DAAD, okay. According to this function, what it does is, D is equals to D, so it will go further, it will check for A is equals to A. Now the length, it will check for each pal of, now the list will become basically empty, okay, or S will become empty, okay. But it's not checking for s equals 0 or not, len of s equals 0 or not. It is just checking for len of s equals to 1. Ideally, this function should have been something like len of s equals to 1 or len of s equals 0, return true, then it would have been true. I mean, like, this checks for palindrome, okay. Currently, it is just checking for palindrome for a word whose length is odd. If the length is even, then even though it is palindrome, it will not return true. Okay, is this clear why this is like false?
Yes.
So that's all we have. And like this is just the basic questions, okay, of like how it's going to be. If you look at it, most of them do not or are not so difficult, okay, especially the first few questions. If you want to score higher, concentrate on the matrices, okay, and then the lists, okay. So yeah, any other questions here?
Would it be possible to get more mock papers for Python?
Yeah, that could be possible. We will try to add more mock papers, yeah, but that may not be. So when I mean by mock papers, it may not be mock papers. It might just be the practice questions, okay. Practice questions will try to add. Mock papers may not be possible.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Practice questions.
Practice questions will add, okay.
Okay.
Any other questions here? If you do not have any other questions, then we can close the session. Okay, so all the best for your.
How many questions of Python would be there in the exam?
You can expect from around 12 to 15. You can expect.
12 to 15.
Yeah, 12 to 15. You can expect. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so thanks, thanks everyone.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you, sir.